My lips.
So glad we're wearing masks.
I won $4 on Powerball. Invested it all to crowdfund my first album.
Wow, a whole album of that.
I'm calling it Didgeridoo-Da-Day.
You're freaking me out, Dirk.
This one's for you, Tina.
And that's all from the South Carolina Education Lottery. Tell your tiny story at tellyourtinystory.com.
There are no words to describe it. The isolation, the boredom, the loneliness. If you're wondering where your teenage son or daughter's spirit went, you're hardly alone. The past year has been devastating, especially for them. But here's the good news. They might just find it again, playing high school sports. Workouts that stimulate, teammates and coaches that care, the sense of belonging so many of us have been missing lately. That's what school sports are all about. The sense of achievement is real, and the camaraderie is hard to beat. Coping with uncertainty is difficult, but school sports can help the teenagers in your family start feeling like themselves again. Encourage them to give it a try. High school sports, it's so much more than a game.
This message presented by the South Carolina High School League and the South Carolina Athletic Administrators Association.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network. The Southeastern Institute of Manufacturing and Technology at Florence Darlington Technical College specializes in sophisticated manufacturing services and workforce development training. The SIMT offers rapid prototyping, additive manufacturing, advanced machining, and business incubation services to clients from across the state and nation, plus social media listening services and rentals of conferencing and training spaces. The SIMT also houses an 800-seat auditorium, a conference center that can seat more than 1,200 for dinner or a luncheon, and numerous classroom spaces with state-of-the-art presentation technologies. Visit our website at simt.com or call 866-304-7468 for more information. The SIMT, technology to grow your business. The future of golf is waiting for you at the Players Club. Rain, shine, or after dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Play or practice with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit maincoursesc.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
Founders is offering a low-rate mortgage with up to $4,000 in closing costs to full-time hospital employees, honoring your frontline efforts against COVID-19. With no PMI, no origination fee, and no limit on the loan amount, you can't go wrong. Visit founders.com/HEC and apply for your hospital employee choice mortgage today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Founders is an equal housing lender and is federally insured by the NCUA.
A lot of ground to cover here on Sports Talk. We invite you in 888-898-2525 South Carolina Education Lottery. Lucky number. I went and bought a Powerball ticket today.
Did you now?
Yes, sir. Got a big
What are your
drawing
numbers?
coming up Wednesday night.
What are the lucky numbers? I need to write these down. Real quick.
I just let them print it out. I didn't pick my numbers. I'm not a numbers picker. I just pay the cash and take the card and then, stash it away for a happy day, I hope, on Wednesday. I think this is the one where the pot has climbed to like over 200 million. That's okay. I'll be happy with that. And I'll be happy to share it with the government. You can take your half and give me my half. I'll be happy to write that tax check. So
I was thinking about this the other day. My wife and I don't play all that often. And on occasion, we will play when the pot gets as big as it is. And I got to thinking, our point is, $4 million, not worth playing. But when it gets up to $400 million, $4 million is life-changing. If you won the bare minimum,
I take a $40,000 scratch off. I take a $4,000 scratch off.
I was just thinking the hypocritical nature of the way we look at the lottery, but it really, I think what you should have played was 888-898-2525.
That's a very
that
good
may
number
actually have been the lucky number.
Too many numbers.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to know that I helped contribute to the more than $572 million, that's since 2002. Those lottery proceeds, those have been used to fund Palmetto Fellow scholarships and the state's college-bound students. So you can learn more about the South Carolina Education Lottery's impact at seducationlottery.com/education wins. And I'm just playing for fun. And playing for fun, of course, is a win for education. If I win,
No doubt.
I win. If I lose, I'll just tear it up and go buy a scratch off for $1 and try to win 20 grand. And I did go, I'm not going to say where I went, but I did go to one of the hot spots in Columbia for winning tickets. Yes, this is one of the places in Columbia that's well known for handing out winning tickets. So maybe it will be Corn's lucky day.
So if you won, what would you do with all of that money? First off, would you come back to work, or am I hosting Sports Talk moving forward?
You would see the last of me on that day. You'd see the last of me. I will turn over to you the laptop, the recruiting database, and the keys. It's all yours.
So I've got the portion moving forward.
You will never hear from me again. Okay? I will be gone.
See, I respect your honesty on that, because I hear all these people who win the lottery talking about, yeah, I'm going to show up for work. That is no way that's true.
Well, then
if I win the lottery, I'm not showing back up for work ever again.
After I give you my laptop, my recruiting database, and the keys, then I'm calling Jimmy Smith and saying, Jimmy, what's the biggest, baddest thing you got at Pawleys Island? And I need lots of land and lots of room, and just send me a bill. And I'm signing up for that. All right, so South Carolina. Okay, now the doubles are finishing up. It's 3-2. South Carolina. Of course, they've got the doubles point. Did I say the doubles are finishing up? The singles are finishing up. So the Gamecocks have got the doubles point. They're up 3-2. And so you got, let's see, what's completed here. South Carolina's Toby Samuel won his match. South Carolina's Jake Beasley, not Jake Bentley, but Jake Beasley won his match in straight sets. Raphael Lambling lost his match in straight sets. So let's see. So we still have, it's 3-2, and we still got some matches in progress. So obviously we'll see what happens here moving forward. Was it take 4 points to win?
That is correct. And that's why winning that doubles point is critically important. And it's funny because you and I were chatting during the break. I've talked to Division II coaches for years. And the way D2 is set up, it's different, because if you win a doubles point, you actually can credit all 3 doubles matches as single points. You could theoretically come out of the doubles with a 3-0 lead. That's why D1 is not nearly as important, but it's nice to have that that doubles point. But the singles are so much more important in Division I play, like South Carolina and Clemson, as opposed to doubles play in places like Newberry College and North Greenville and those guys, because if they come out of the doubles with all 3 points, they've only got to win 1 singles match, and the tournament is there.
Well, there's 2 matches left, number 1 singles and number 6 singles. And they're both going to the third set. So Daniel Rodriguez, USC's number 1 player, is going to the third set against Elliot Spazzini of Texas. And then Connor Thompson is facing Evan McDonald, Connor Thompson of South Carolina. That's in the number 6 singles match. And already Thompson has taken a 1-0 lead in his match. All they need is one of the Gamecocks to win, and they advance to the Elite 8. So we'll keep a close watch on that. Pretty exciting to have that happening right before our very eyes. 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Let's go to Tracy in Monk's Corner. Beautiful, wonderful, wild, and woolly. Monk's Corner, South Carolina. Hello, Tracy. How are you? Hey.
I can't call you Phil because I grew up with you calling you Philip. This is Tracy Hazelden. How are you?
Well, hey, how's it going? It's a name from the past.
Yes, sir, it is. Like I said, this is just a nostalgia call more than anything else. Just want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Wardlaw Martin, who turned me on that you are. I listen to this radio station all the time, but normally before 6. And I've seen you in the paper, of course, and all that since I moved back to South Carolina. But good to see where you're at and what you're doing and how you're doing it. Great thing there.
Well, thank you. Thank you. This gentleman who I'm talking to is one of the fine products of Latta Home of Champions. Big Clemson man, comes from a Clemson family. Back in the days, I remember your dad and the Cox family across the street used to have battling billboards across the street from one another about when South Carolina won or Clemson would win, y'all would take shots at one another across the street.
Exactly.
Yep.
And of course, your daddy's store was right next to my daddy's place of business.
Yep.
And I was telling Wardlaw all about this. I said, I know his daddy. I know his brother.
Yeah.
I said, me and Philip are a long time ago. I said, I just haven't, talked to him in probably 40-something years.
Probably. We all kind of went our own way to some degree.
Yeah. I ended up moving out of South Carolina, joining the Navy and doing all that stuff, retired, and finally come back and started working out of Charleston and loving every minute of it. But,
what did you do in the Navy? What did you do in the Navy?
I was a senior chief petty officer and ended up marrying my wife, who was a chief petty officer.
Oh.
And,
wait. She outranks you?
No. Philip. And I'm calling him Philip for everybody that's listening because never known Phil to be Philip. But I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. I don't know how close we are to a hard commercial break.
Oh, listen to you. You know radio. Hang on. We do have to go to a commercial break. So if you'll hang on, Tracy, I'll come back to you. This is sort of a trip down nostalgia lane for me.
It is.
So everybody tolerate it for a couple more minutes. Thank you, Tracy. Hang on 1 second, and we'll be back. Take more calls, too. 888-898-2525.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-430-7568. 800-430-7568. 800-430-7568. That's 800-430-7568.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Israel's military says it identified 6 rockets launched from Lebanon that apparently fell inside Lebanese territory. The Army said Monday that Israeli artillery returned fire into southern Lebanon. Air raid sirens sounded in a kibbutz near the border, and residents were instructed to prepare bomb shelters. The incident took place near the site of protests staged along the Lebanese border on Friday. In one incident, protesters breached the border fence and entered Israeli territory. Israeli troops fatally shot one man who was later identified by the Lebanese militia Hezbollah as one of its fighters. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 54 points, the Nasdaq dropped 50, the S&P 500 lower by 10, and crude oil up 90 cents to close at $66.27 a barrel. This is SRN News.
Is that crack in your windshield or your house bothering you?
Have you been meaning to have it replaced but just can't find the time?
Call Absolute Glass, voted Lexington's best glass shop for 12 years in a row.
We repair and replace glass on all makes and models.
We're the only local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands, and we'll come to you to make the process quick and easy.
With new technologies and vehicles, we can recalibrate your vehicle back to new.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com to learn more about our auto, home, and business glass services. Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
Hello, Midlands. It's Jay here with The Melting Pot. Here's a few questions we get when people call us. Do we serve only chocolate? No, we serve 4 courses, but you can get just chocolate or 4 courses of chocolate. No, you don't have to sit at a big table with strangers around you. but you can sit at a big table with friends around you. You just need to bring the friends with you. We also specialize in having lots of private booths with real walls between them, so you won't feel like a fish in a plexiglass tank. Come and see us at the Melting Pot, 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard.
Are you ready to make your money work for you rather than you working for your money? Dave Ramsey here. Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union, serving the Midlands since 1936. Palmetto Citizens is not a mega bank, so you can count on good old-fashioned customer service and the profits going back to you. Plus, they care about your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org, federally insured by the NCUA.
All South Carolinians are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccines. For help finding a vaccine location in your area, visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110. COVID-19 vaccines are free and don't require ID or insurance. Visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110 to find a vaccine location near you.
Hi, this is Kevin Cohen. I'm the owner, the general manager here at The Point. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is to partner with great people. To that end, I'm looking to partner in the upcoming months with like-minded business owners, people who want to grow their respective businesses. Would you consider meeting with me in the very near future to discuss how The Point can partner with you so that you can exceed your own expectations in the coming year? Let's sit down over a glass of tea, a cup of coffee. Let's talk about how your business and my business can work together to meet our collective goals. I'm not looking simply for advertisers. I can find them by simply cold calling people a few times a week. What I'm looking for are business partners who share the vision that I have for my own small business. That vision is very simple. Local businesses need to support local businesses, period. If you have an interest in telling people about your business via the radio, let's make it happen affordably and local. Call me directly, 563-8558, 563-8558. I'd appreciate the chance to meet with you. Maybe we can help each other.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network. On this Monday nights, Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel, 888-898-2525, taking your phone calls here. Continue in just a moment with the phone calls. Updating the tennis in the round of 16 is still, South Carolina 3 and Texas 2. 2 matches are being played as we speak. And South Carolina's Daniel Rodriguez is up 3-love in his match. So he needs three more games to clinch. The other match, Connor Thompson of South Carolina is trailing 2-1. But this entire match is in the hands now of the number 1 singles player for South Carolina, the number 2 player in the country, Daniel Rodriguez, who's up 3-0. He lost the first set 6-3, won the second set 6-2, and leads 3-0 in the third.
That's where you want it, right?
Set. Yeah, you want the
if
hands
you're trying
of your
to
best
advance
guy.
on. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Sure. Few other things to mention here very quickly from the day. The Clemson softball team lost in the ACC championship, did get into the NCAA tournament, not hosting. I know there's been some belly aching about that from some Clemson people, but apparently, from what I understand, I'm not close to it at all, but talking to a Clemson person who would know, too small. The facility's not big enough to handle a regional. They didn't build it big enough. They could add seats, but apparently, too little too late for that. So they've gone to Alabama to play their regional. That will be tough. That'll be nearly
impossible. Alabama is one of the top flight elite programs in the country, Phil, and I'm not sure Clemson could have drawn a worse place to have to go. Alabama winning the SEC tournament over the weekend, and I was surprised. I really was that Clemson did not pull through. Duke played awfully well, but I think when you look at the seedings, it's as much based on lack of national success from the Atlantic Coast Conference for softball as anything else. They've only had one national champion in, the last 30 years, I think it was, and that was Florida State a couple of years ago. So ACC softball, I don't think gets very much national respect, and that's why you've got Florida State as a 10 seed, and I think Duke, who actually won the tournament championship, They're 13 seeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Clemson got disrespected. It's just the fact that I don't think many people around the country respect ACC softball altogether.
And Chris, in that game, that ACC tournament championship game, Valerie Cagle, who's been the superstar, the face of the Clemson softball team all year, she took the loss, falling to 26-5 on the season. But it was heartbreaking fashion. In the top of the sixth, she has been reliable all season, but had back-to-back wild pitches, which allowed that run to score, or allowed runners to move to second and third, and then a infield hit to the fielder's choice to the shortstop allowed that one run to score. So it was kind of heartbreaking fashion for the Tigers, but still a great season. And then you're right, that matchup against Alabama is going to be tough.
All right, a couple of other things here very quickly. 888-898-2525. Back to your calls in a second. Pitching matchup for USC. Appalachian State tomorrow night in Columbia. C.J. Wines for the Gamecocks. They're giving him more work against Ben Peterson, a freshman from Appalachian State. Also in baseball, the new rankings out this week in South Carolina is 15 by collegiate baseball, 18 by the coaches, and 21 by D1 baseball and by Baseball America. The RPIs this week around the state, USC's 11, Upstate 46, Clemson 49, Wofford 80, Coastal Carolina 102, College of Charleston 152, PC 183, Winthrop 236, Charleston Southern 261, the Citadel 267. And a couple of football notes. South Carolina, North Carolina, home and home series 2028-2029. Tar Heels will come to Columbia to kick off the 28 season. Gamecocks go to Chapel Hill to open the 2029 season. Of course, they're going to play in Charlotte to open the 23 season. And
I hate neutral site games in college. I am so excited to see this actually be home and home games. How much better do you believe Georgia Clemson would be this year if it were in Athens or at Memorial Stadium as opposed to in Charlotte? I just hate neutral site games for college.
The game itself is going to be great no matter where they
no
played
doubt,
it.
no
But I
doubt.
get what you're saying about the atmosphere. It does change it some. The Citadel and Coastal Carolina, their game to open the season has been moved to a Thursday night, September 2nd.
Big
So
time.
you'll be working on Thursday night, September 2nd, my boy.
And my guess is that's going to be I would think it, if not regionally televised, perhaps a nationally televised game. Coastal took full advantage of having those opportunities last year to be on national TV, and I would imagine that's why the game has been moved to Thursday. I think that's great to showcase our state the opening weekend.
All right, Rodriguez lost the fourth game, so he's up 3-1 over Elliot. I think it's Spazzini. I might have said Spazzini. Looks like two R's and not two N's there. Spazzini from Texas. All right, back to the phones we go. We thank you for your patience. And Tracy, fellow Latin, back with us on Sports Talk. Okay, so I misunderstood. So you were a senior petty officer. Your wife was junior petty officer, so you certainly outranked her.
That's great. I was a senior chief petty officer. She was a chief petty officer. But I have to correct myself because she was sitting out here listening. Yes, she does outrank me right now. So we'll get that straight and move along smartly. And good on Alabama for all you're doing right now. But again, we'll see your butts in January. If we got to play these guys anymore, we just got to put them on schedule.
Now, are you still a crazy Clemson man? Are you still crazy Clemson?
Crazy. Bill, I sleep with a little tiger on my head. But anyhow, my sister Jenny, Millie, Debbie, and my brother Davey, of course, would all say hi. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to say one thing because I'm not going to hog up much of your airtime. But when we were young, we always played pickup games at the Methodist Church. They had a basketball goal there, and Phil knows exactly what I'm talking about, correct?
Sure. Spent many afternoons there.
Yeah, and we played every Sunday after the congregation went away. We were always up there playing ball. But I'm going to tell your fans, Phil had a mean jump shot, 20, 25 foot. I mean, could bury him every time. And I was a couple of years behind him. But I will say this, I'm 6'5", and Phil's a little bit shorter than I am. But I couldn't beat him. And my brother-in-law, Purvis Jackson, who Phil knows, he coached me one time. He goes, look, he's a South Carolina fan. You're a Clemson man. You're going to whip him, and I'm going to show you how to whip him. So the only way I could beat him, I had to keep backing him all the way up to the goal, and I would, go from there. And I think I beat him by 1 point to whatever we were playing to. But, hey, it was great talking to you.
You too.
And I can't believe all the things that you're doing, and you sound so great, and you are really up on what you're doing. And this is a good guy, everybody that's listening, and really appreciate it, Phil.
Well, Tracy, great hearing from you. I'm glad that you're in our community, in our sports community, and keep in touch. Great hearing from you.
Okay, Phil. Have
Thank
a great
you.
night.
Thank you very much. Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Blast from the past. Well, Latta, like so many small towns in South Carolina when I was growing up, it was split down the middle between South Carolina and Clemson.
Sure.
And like he mentioned, his father had a major insurance company in Latta, and they were all Clemson people. And across the street was the Cox Company. You've heard me mention the Cox family before. Great people. Lavinia Cox, first runner-up in Miss America, another one of the famous people from Latta. Latta produces athletes, academicians, and beauty queens. That's pretty much all we do. So we kind of got it all covered. But anyway, Mr. Cox was a huge Gamecock. I mean, huge. And Mr. Hazelton was a huge Clemson man. And so every November, whichever team won, if the Gamecocks won, Mr. Cox put a big banner out in front of his business with the score and all this. And if the Tigers won, Mr. Hazelton would do the same thing. A lot of fun. That was back when, people did things for fun. They didn't go and, go overboard over a win or a loss. They had fun with one another. So that's what it was like in small town Latta. Just like in, was it in Belton or Anderson? Somewhere right up in there. Whenever Clemson would win the game, they would fly a flag or a tiger tail or something up on a flagpole in one of those towns up there to represent the Clemson win. I mean, that's just good rivalry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the phone calls. Good hearing from you. Senior Chief Petty Officer, right? Did I get it right? That's pretty high up the chain of command, right? That's almost Admiral, isn't it?
I think that's actually what Sam Hanna is on the NCIS Los Angeles. If you follow those dramas, yeah, I believe that's what Sam Hanna.
See, I was having a flashback.
Senior Chief.
Where I got messed up was I was thinking about the movie A Few Good Men.
Oh, my favorite movie of all time.
And the scene when they're sitting around the table there at down in Cuba at Gitmo, and Jack Nicholson looks at Tom Cruise and says, after who was the actress?
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore. He goes, yeah. She out. His name was Danny. She outranks you, doesn't she, Danny? I get it now. Good stuff. 888-898-2525. PGA Championship begins on Thursday. Today, some practice rounds. I don't think they did any media today. I checked, didn't see anything. Of course, Colin Morikawa, the defending champion after winning last year. And we flash back to 2012 when Rory McIlroy won at the Ocean Course. He shot 67, 75, 67, 66. And David, who would remember this? Can you remember who finished second? Somebody I've never heard of then and haven't heard of since.
That's the beauty of some of the majors. Guys will show up for one weekend, they disappear forever. No, I do not remember.
David Lynn finished second, and Keegan Bradley was third, along with Carl Pedersen and Ian Poulter and Justin Rose. So all those guys tied for third. So, and then Blake Adams was next. So Rory got off to the great start. And then remember that second round, the scores on the second round, 75, 74. I'm just reading some of the scores of your top finishers, but everybody struggled with the wind. on that Friday. 75 for Rory. Lynn had a 74. Bradley a 77. Pedersen a 74. Poulter managed a 71. Justin Rose shot 79 that day. Jeff Ogilvy had a 78. I don't think there was a score. Let's see. Vijay Singh had a 69. He was the only player in the 60s that day. Can you believe that? Everybody else was 70 and above.
And Rory won that tournament by 8 shots. I'd be stunned if there is that kind of margin of victory this weekend. And heck, I'd be stunned if anybody gets to below 10 under par. Rory finished at 13. I can't imagine, because of what we were told last week about the winds kicking up and the length of the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine we're going to see anybody. I would think I would take 9 under par, maybe 8 under par right now, and go sit in the clubhouse and wait until Sunday.
Ryan Palmer in that second round, he shot 86. Tommy Gainey shot 81 that second round. Now let's see if anybody else jumps out at me. Paul Casey shot 85. Doug Wade shot a 93. Hello, Doug. You should play with me. He shot 83
on that.
He shot 83, 93. No, in the conditions that day, I swear I would have probably shot 140, if not 150. The wind was blowing so hard, the balls were not resting on the green. The wind was they had problems finishing off putts and stuff because the wind kept blowing the golf balls on the green. So that was a mess. All right, back to your phone calls, 888-898-2525. As we go to Jerry in Clinton with us next here on Sports Talk. Hi, Jerry. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Phil. A long-time listener, first-time caller.
Good to have you.
It's good to get to talk to you, but I called in to let you know that you got quite a gem when you got Chris Bergen.
Did we?
Oh, yeah. He was on the radio here for several years. I got to know Chris, got to talk to him, meet him out in public a few times, and he did play-by-play for Clinton High School and did an outstanding job. So I don't know if Chris would remember me or not.
Jerry, I absolutely do. I appreciate the phone call and the kind words, my friend. Good to hear from you. This sort of blast of the past show today, Phil. You've got one of your guys from Atlanta. I've got one of my guys from Clinton. This is outstanding.
Two of our buddies got the email to call in tonight. That's what happened.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Jerry, the check is on the way, my friend. How have you been?
Well, I think a lot of Chris. He did an outstanding job when he was in this area. And to be honest with you, when he left WPCC, it wasn't long until it shut down and eventually was sold.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris was the backbone of the show on WPCC in the morning called In the Doghouse. I remember that well.
I've spent numerous days in the doghouse.
To this day.
Haven't we all?
Indeed.
But I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
I was wondering what y'all think about Corey Fountain, the new head coach in Clinton. Has been here now for, I believe this will be his second full year. And just wondering if you think he's going to be able to get the program back to the way it was in its heyday in high school football in 3A.
If I'm not mistaken, was he not at Lamar?
He was.
Okay,
Yeah,
then you
got
a hell of a coach.
And no doubt.
Yeah.
Going to Clinton, he's not unfamiliar with pressure to win because, of course, Lamar is, if you don't win a state championship and finish second, you had a terrible year. Same thing at Clinton. So, Jerry, I think you landed a really, really good coach. He understands having to deal with that kind of pressure and the expectations at Clinton. But as much the case in high school football anywhere, it's what's coming up through the pipeline will dictate how well he can coach.
Well, the junior high team and then the JV team at the high school, they all had outstanding years this past year. So they seem to have some athletes coming along, and the program has just got down so far. I think it's going to take a while to get back to where it was under Keith Richardson and everything, but just really hopeful. I enjoy listening to high school football. I think it's one of those things that so far hasn't been damaged by so many things out on television and
it's coming.
And everything is just pure.
It's coming.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid it is.
I mean, it's the last
games
frontier.
are televised.
It's the last frontier. I mean, just look at how everything has moved over the years. Of course, you had your pros and television, then television into the colleges, and that's expanded, of course, to where everything in college is on television. Now, television has expanded into the high schools to where you've got many high school football games on television on Friday night, Saturday night, other nights, primarily to show off the top recruits. That's what they're most interested in, to be honest with you, until they get into the playoff situation. But, eventually the money is going to create a problem for high school football. I can really envision a day where high school football players and basketball players who are helping to fill gymnasiums and the like are like, hey, where's my cut? My coach is making $150,000, $200,000 to lift weights and coach football. Where's my take on this? Since really amateurism is getting wiped off the map at every turn, why would you consider high schools any different in big communities where high school programs are have big stadiums and big scoreboards and big boosters?
Well, you think about high school football out in Texas and what big money has done to it, really. And I'm afraid that places like Burns and so forth, we're going down the same road in the state. And I just miss those days when it was every small town was excited about the team, no matter how good or how bad it was, really. They were just excited to go to the ball game, and I hope money doesn't ruin that, but maybe we get back to it at some point.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, thank you very much. Great hearing from you.
Jerry, thank you,
good
pal.
talking to y'all. Hey, Chris, you take care, man, and tell Miss Heidi that we said hello.
I will absolutely pass that along. Thank you, bud.
Okay,
Speaking
y'all
of
have
being
a great one.
outranked, there's somebody who's outranked right there, huh? We know who the chief is in that house.
And the funny thing is, and you heard Jerry mention it, that's the level that Clinton High School football is expected to be all the time, hoping that we can get the program back to the level that Keith Richardson had it. What he won 6 state championships when he was the head coach at Clinton High School.
Yeah.
I mean, what he did and what Shell Dula and, you can go down the list of all the great coaches throughout our state, John McKissick, Jackie Hayes. I mean, some of those records that those guys amassed, and Tom Knotts is doing it now over at Dutch Fort, but some of those things are just unattainable.
Yeah.
And I understand Jerry and Clinton fans, they should want Corey Fountain to get to that level. But good grief, you want to talk about pressure. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, but Corey's a heck of a coach.
He is a good coach.
He did a great job at Lamar. And the times I've talked to him around state championship times, I was always really impressed by him. Very sharp guy. Kept that Lamar tradition going. And he'll do the same thing at Clinton. Of course, it all depends on, who's coming out to play. Part of the problem that these coaches face today is that they got to go recruit players within their own halls. And a lot of kids, for whatever reason, they don't want to play football. They're into something else. And you're limited to some degree. But I think he's going to do a heck of a job there. I think he's going to just do great based on his background. And thank you for your phone call. 888-898-2525. Let's see what's going on in the tennis. So, okay. USC's Rodriguez is now down 4-3. He was up what?
Ouch.
He was up,
up 3 zip,
wasn't he? He's lost 4 straight. And USC's Thomas Brown is down 5-3. So things have turned around considerably there. So you can pretty much go ahead and probably give Texas the number 6 singles match. That will tie things at 3. It's going to come down to these last few games between Rodriguez and Elliot Spazzeri. So it's 4-3 Spazzeri leading Rodriguez. We'll keep a close watch on that for you. And let's see, what else I wanted to pass on today. Mentioned the football stuff. The Braves have recalled left-hander Tucker Davidson, designated left-hander Jesse Biddle for assignment. Want you to take advantage. We've got a few more weeks of our golf contest here on Sports Talk. A chance for you to win a weekend of golf at the Clark's Inn over in Santee. You can win 2 rounds of golf for 2 in Santee, plus an overnight stay at the Clark's Inn and Restaurant. Green fees and golf cart are included. You just go to our website and click on the little picture there and just fill out your name and your email and your phone number. And we'll have a blind draw later on this month to see who's going to win the golf weekend at Santee and at Clark's Inn. A lot of fun. Thanks to the folks there. And, get your name in on the list. Don't delay. You still have a couple of more weeks for that. And let's see. Told you about the RPIs, talked about the tennis, updated the golf. Am I forgetting anything else? Talked about the Clemson softball. And I think we've pretty much covered everything at this point. Race yesterday at Dover. Boy, you talk about
How about that finish?
Team domination, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4. Joe Gibbs Racing has gotten a great deal of the headlines, but Hendricks Motorsports is like, we're flexing our muscles today at Dover. And that's not unusual for that team, that organization, to do well at Dover.
No, they have done very well over the years. Normally, Jimmy Johnson taking the banner of Hendrick Motorsports and doing well at Dover. But for them to go 1, 2, 3, 4 yesterday and Alex Bowman get his second win of the season, really, really good, because I believe Chase Elliott, if I'm going to make a pick this early in the week, as they go to the Circuit of the Americas, first time the NASCAR Cup Series has ever run there, if I'm not mistaken, in Austin, Texas. Chase is as good a road course driver as they have on the circuit. Hendrick may go back-to-back, because I really believe he's got to be the favorite going into the weekend. We'll ask KT about that tomorrow, and certainly Jeff Owens on Friday. But if I had to pick a favorite this early in the week, I think Hendrick has a chance to go back-to-back.
Very strong, very strong. Bank records filed in federal court show Adidas executive Chris Rivers made payments from his Oregon-based company to former Duke star Zion Williamson's family between 2016 and 2019, including payments to Williamson's stepfather's furniture store accounts. This is being reported by the News and Observer. We'll give you more details in hour 2, and we'll be back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107. The Point.
The Point. The Point. WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107. The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. The Biden administration says monthly stimulus checks for families with children will begin this summer. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Starting in July, the IRS will send new child benefits to millions of households. It's part of the coronavirus relief package that became law earlier this year. Each month, qualifying families will receive $300 per child under 6 and $250 per child older than 6. Some lawmakers do not support sending the same amount to working and non-working parents. President Biden is pushing Congress to extend the tax credit for several more years. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The Supreme Court announced that it will hear an abortion case stemming from Mississippi this coming term. That law, which is on hold by lower courts, would ban abortion when the unborn baby is determined to have viability after the 15th week. John Bursch of the pro-life legal group Alliance Defending Freedom tells Salem Radio News why 15 weeks is so important.
And when you're talking about a baby at 15 weeks, it's a baby that can move around and kick in her mother's womb, who can open and close her fingers and hiccup, who can open and close her eyelids, has a heartbeat, and even has taste buds and can taste what her mom eats.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, already under investigation for sexual harassment, has disclosed that he was paid a $3.1 million advance to write his COVID-19 leadership book last year, and under his publishing contract, will make another $2 million on the memoir over the next 2 years. The Democrat had declined for months to say how much money he made from writing American Crisis: Leadership Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic. The book was published in October, just as the state was seeing a deadly resurgence in infections. Cuomo said he gave $500,000 of his profits to charity. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 54 points. The Nasdaq dropped 50. The S&P 500 lower by 10. Oil up to $66.27 a barrel. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Pete and Seth Talbot, the father and son founders of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now. Discount it to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefFactor.com.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor. Half man, half motorcycle. You never really stop riding in your mind. Never. Unless you're thinking of something else. Like other thoughts. Progressive Motorcycle also presents Roadside Assistance. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Several unions say the staff cuts railroads have made in recent years could jeopardize safety.
The major railroads say the new operating model they've adopted is simply helping them become more efficient and has not made railroads riskier. The unions say freight railroads have cut their workforces more than 22%, so now safety inspectors and maintenance technicians are hard-pressed to complete the duties in the time allotted. But the railroads say safety has been improving, and regulators say the data does not show a problem with the industry's new operating model. Jason Walker reporting.
U.S. telecom giant AT&T is combining its Warner Media operations with Discovery. The deal will marry the likes of HBO and CNN with HGTV and Oprah Winfrey. And it's another illustration of the head-spinning speed in which streaming has transformed the media world. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast. Overcast this evening with a low temp of 59. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine with a high of 83 and a 20% chance of an afternoon shower. The rest of the week starts a big warm-up, very dry and sunshine-filled. But getting hot with highs in the 90s by the weekend, and by Monday, we'll be in the upper 90s. I'm Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather. WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Come on, hit it. Do it. You know you want to.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Good to have you with us on a busy Monday night. Let me update the tennis out in Texas, and it's 5-4. Texas leading in both of the remaining singles matches at 1-6. Spizzirri leading South Carolina's Rodriguez 5-4 in the third set, and USC's Brown trailing Texas's McDonald 5-4 in the third set. USC leading overall 3-2, so it's coming right down to the end there at Texas. Meantime, the USC baseball team had a fabulous weekend going to Kentucky and sweeping the Wildcats. And we have Coach Mark Kingston with us right now here on Sports Talk. Coach, congratulations. Heck of a weekend for you guys. Would you say it was the best overall 3-game performance you guys have put together this season in SEC play?
I'd say it's got to be right up there. It's with the league being so good this year. It's you can play really well at times and still lose games. So I think we need to make sure we temper all the excitement, or when we get so depressed after losses, with sometimes you play really, really well and you still lose because you're playing the number one team in America, or sometimes you get wins and you don't play quite as well because the opponents aren't quite the number one team in America. But all that being said, I think we pitched at a high level. Obviously, our best weekend offensively in a long time, and defensively we were very solid as well. So under the circumstances, needing to go there and have success, getting a sweep against the team that going into that weekend, was projected to be in the field of 64. Obviously, one of the bigger weekends we've had in a while.
Did your guys take any inspiration from the news that came out earlier in the day that you were in the field of 20 being considered to host, knowing that every win would further enhance that opportunity?
I think it was a good incentive, obviously, for them to see that they were respected enough to be one of the top 20 contenders for the final 16 spots. I think that does embolden you a little bit. I think it gives you that sense of confidence that, okay, we've played the toughest schedule in America. We've had our ups and downs, but we have won plenty of games to be considered. And then to get that validation from the NCAA that you are at this point one of the top 20 candidates, I did think you give us a little boost, and we really ran with it.
Well, I tell you, you've had to move things around with your rotation. You tried a few different things here and there with two of the same people every weekend, but moving some people in and out. You think you hit on a winning formula with the way things rolled out for you at Kentucky with the three you threw out there?
Yeah, I think right now it's the three guys who give us the best chance to win 3 games in a weekend. Obviously, Will Sanders was in there for a long time, but he hit a little bit of that freshman wall that guys hit, and so he's back in the bullpen where he started the year, where he was tremendous and earned the right to be in the weekend rotation. So he gave us a nice boost on Sunday, and I think he'll give us a real big boost out of the bullpen for the rest of the year, much like he did early when he had the 2 saves against Clemson. And I think, again, Brett Carey being in the middle on the weekend allows you to use guys on Friday and Sunday out of your bullpen and hopefully not have to get overextended in the middle game.
Let me update something real quick, Chris, then I'll let you jump in with Coach. Coach won't mind this. We're watching this NCAA tennis match between South Carolina and Texas in the round of 16. So Rodriguez ends up losing 6-4 in the third set. That ties it at 3. So it's coming down to the number 6 singles, and it's 5-5 in the third set between USC's Brown and McDonald of Texas. So it's like getting that relief pitcher out there, I guess, trying to strike out the home run hitter, Chris.
Mark Kingston, head baseball coach at USC, our guest here tonight on Sports Talk. And, Coach, as much as I'm sure you were thrilled with the pitching over the weekend, you had to be beside yourself with the hitting you guys. You guys have really struggled in SEC play offensively, but batted .304 with 10 extra base hits over the weekend. How encouraging is that going into not just tomorrow with Appalachian State, but certainly this upcoming weekend against Tennessee?
Well, it was a good weekend for the hitters. And to go as far as we want to go in the postseason, you've got to have a balance of pitching and offense. Obviously, championships have been won a lot over the years at all levels of baseball with pitching and defense. But this year in college baseball, I think you better be able to hold your own offensively as well. And I thought we showed signs of that this weekend. Obviously, we want to see consistency with it. We want to be able to do it against the best teams in the country. But we saw signs that when it comes together, we can have equally good pitching and hitting.
Brought up an interesting point a couple of moments ago about trying to avoid getting frustrated with your baseball team because of the amount of talent that you've had to face over the last couple of weeks in SEC play. How much do you believe in terms of coaching you've had to be as much a mental head coach with your team as much as the physical nature of baseball because of the schedule you guys have played this season?
Yeah, it's a big part of it. There's no question about it. And, you have to balance out the discipline and the accountability and being hard on guys in the team at times, but you also have to temper that with making sure they don't get too down or they don't lose their confidence. Baseball is a game built on failure to begin with. Good hitters fail 70% of the time. Big leagues, the best teams fail 40% of the time. So it is a game built on failure. So you have to really try to do the best job you can of making sure that they're not accepting losing, but also make sure they understand in baseball, when you're playing the best of the best of the best, there are going to be times, there's going to be games, there's going to be weekends that don't go your way. It's just the nature of the beast. And so we wanted to try to make sure we kept them working, kept them improving, but also tried to keep their confidence at a level where they understood that if we just weather the storm, we can get to a point where we can be in really good shape.
About 3 more minutes left with Coach Mark Kingston, USC Baseball. How's the health of the team going into Appalachian State? Anybody dealing with any illnesses? any injuries that might sideline somebody for tomorrow night or this weekend against Tennessee?
Yeah, it looks like we'll be without Brendan Malone, who was really starting to play good baseball the last, I would say, 10 days to 2 weeks. Had really started to find his stroke, and defensively he'd really settled in. He pulled his hamstring on Sunday, so we're awaiting the nature of that and how serious it is. So you'll probably see Jeff Heinrich at third base tomorrow night. Outside of that, health-wise, I think we're in pretty good shape. And we just have to keep our fingers crossed that Malone is able to return in a pretty decent amount of time. And then we just have to hope we stay healthy on top of that.
Could he miss Tennessee as well, Malone?
It's possible. It's possible.
All right. And a quick synopsis on the Vols, who have been outstanding. They had a great series with Arkansas over the weekend, gave them everything they wanted. I know you're focused on Appalachian, but just a quick glimpse ahead to Tennessee as you guys prepare for that Thursday through Saturday showdown.
Yeah, they've had a nice year, and I think that they've gotten a lot of publicity, obviously, and they've had a nice year, and they've won some big games and some big series. What I think is interesting for the people that do their homework and the people that really dig into everybody's schedules, the SEC common opponents between them and us, we have the exact same records. And so I think that's pretty interesting to look at. So I think it should be a really good series. I think, we're hoping we have a great turnout from our fans, which I would guess the Gamecock fans, now that they're starting to see how we're being looked at nationally as one of the top 20 host teams, and coming off the sweep, I'm hoping that we have a great turnout of great Gamecock fans this weekend, and I think it should be a great weekend. They're a talented team, but so are we. So it should be a lot of fun.
Has your administration given you any indication if they're going to open things up even more this weekend for that series?
I think they're working on it, but I have not heard anything definitive yet at this point.
Okay. We thank you as always. Congratulations on a great weekend. Good luck this week. We'll see how things play out, and we'll talk to you again.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Mark
Coach.
Kingston, USC baseball coach. Appreciate him being with us tonight. Love having him on when we can get him. We'll talk to Monty Lee. We can get him later in the week. They also have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday deal against Duke, and their backs are really against the wall. Boy, South Carolina, I think, win tomorrow night, win the series against Tennessee. I think that would get them a host. I think that would get them a host. They probably put in a pretty good financial. I imagine they put in a pretty good financial bid for it. Would you think that'd do it?
I would think, Phil, I think that's a lock, because you would go 5-6 at worst, perhaps 6-6, or 6-0 rather. You go 5-1 rather, or 6-0. Your final two SEC weekend series, and you knock off a team in Tennessee that's as good as anybody in the country. I think that would be a lock for them. I can't imagine if they were in the 20 going into this past weekend and they finish going 3-0 at Kentucky, beat Appalachian, and then go at worst 2 out of 3 against Tennessee. I can't imagine the NCAA would not slot them into the top 16.
Well, they played really, really good baseball. I mean, that was a great Kentucky team, but good enough to where their overall record, they were pushing 30 wins, and they were just a little bit under 500 in league play before the Gamecocks came in there. And South Carolina hadn't swept a series at Kentucky since the early 2000s. So to go in there and do that, and I think that was a new ballpark they were playing in too at Kentucky, to go in there and do that and not just win. They didn't win one-run games. I mean, they trounced them in all 3 games.
Well, and you look, if they even take just one from Tennessee this coming weekend, had you told Mark Kingston with the schedule they were going to face, and had he been able to know where all the teams would be slotted in terms of ranking and RPI before the season began, that they would finish 16-14 in the SEC, I think he might have signed up for that, because right now there are 3 games. At worst, they're going to finish 500 and arguably the best league in the country this season for sure. But, to go on the road and do something they have not done in 20 years, and maybe more impressive, aside from Brett Carey, take him out of the mix as good as he was, the fact that they batted .304, considering they have been the second worst hitting team in the SEC, that's obviously a big feather in their cap going into the weekend with Tennessee.
All right, our poll question of the week, by the way, is do you think South Carolina is going to host a regional? We'll tell you what the voters think, and we'll give you recruiting and take more calls when we come back.
Enjoy life to the fullest with tasty peanuts that pack a lot of flavor. When it comes to eating peanuts, the research is clear. Peanuts improve your health. Peanuts, a snack that gives back. Crack some open today for a nutritious, sustainable, and earth-friendly treat. Be sure to stop by your local grocery store produce section to pick up a bag of roasted in-shell peanuts. Brought to you by the South Carolina Peanut Board. Visit aboutpeanuts.com for delicious peanut-based recipes.
The future of golf is waiting for you at the Players Club. Rain, shine, or after dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Play or practice with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit maincoursesc.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
Hey, folks, mortgage rates have dipped to their lowest levels in recent history. And with home values up in many areas, now may be the perfect time to refinance your home. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payments, free up cash for home improvements, or just pay off your home faster, a quick call to the one and only Stuart Wingo of Ameris Bank could save you money. If you're looking for competitive rates and exceptional service, call Stuart Wingo. 803-319-1777. That's 803-319-1777. You will save money just like I have so many times over the years. You can also visit him, amerisbank.com/Stuart Wingo. Stuart Wingo, the man with the plan for all your mortgage needs.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment. There are many things to like about the Carolinas, and one of those is Founders Federal Credit Union Founders Online. The Founders app and using your Founders cards and digital wallets are just some of the perks you'll have at your fingertips. And with over 30 locations, we're always closed. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com or visit one of our office locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Relax with Founders. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Life, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsibly.sc.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Made my way down to the coast for a quick overnight. Georgetown, what a beautiful town, Georgetown. Made my way up the coast, 45 miles an hour, through Pawleys, through Litchfield, and really, I slowed down to 25 miles an hour when I drove past the home office of James Smith Realty because I wanted to pay homage to the king of Pawleys Island, Jimmy Smith. And he doesn't want you to pay homage. He wants you to pay him a visit or give him a phone call at 843-237-4246, PawleysVacationRentals.com. Pawleys, a beautiful place. Jimmy, a beautiful man because he is the man. So just give Jimmy a call and let him take care of all your vacation needs. Why sweat it? Why worry about it? Why think long and hard? Say, Jimmy, set me up, take care of me and my family. My group of friends, whoever you're bringing with you, 843-237-4246. Need a house, need a condo, need a weekend, need a week, need a month, need to buy some property. All of that can be covered at one spot. James Smith Realty, 843-237-4246, PawleysVacationRentals.com. The Oh, it's over, by the way. South Carolina loses 4-3 to Texas, came down to the last singles match. Thomas Brown loses 7-5 to Evan McDonald. So a game effort by the Gamecocks. But they lose those last two singles at number 1 and number 6. And Texas comes away with the win. Your thoughts, Chris?
It's funny. It's obviously a team effort in that because all the points matter, but it would be tough to be Thomas Brown sitting there knowing that the match came down to your singles match and you don't pull out the win. It's not all his fault, clearly. But I would wonder how he's going to take that moving forward because all he had to do was, and I say all he had to do was win his match, and the Gamecocks are advancing on in the NCAA tournament. That's going to sting. That really is going to sting.
Absolutely.
But for them to get as far as they have, I think that's a huge, huge deal for men's tennis over at USC because this was I think, an unexpected run by them.
And they've got a beautiful new indoor facility that will be ready for next season. And so that program continues to do extremely well. Let's give you the recruiting report here on Sports Talk. Our recruiting report is brought to you by our friends at Seawells. I'm getting over to Seawells this week for a delicious lunch. Care to join me, Mr. Bergen? Come on up. I'll take you out.
Absolutely. Well,
Take you out for a great
I'll
lunch.
be there.
The folks at Seawells put on a great lunch buffet every day, 11 to 2, at their facility on Rosewood Drive. And it's, it's just they've been safe from the beginning. Now that things have kind of eased up, they're still sticking to the guidelines and all that. But they're still safe because they've been safe from day one. They've done things right. They've done things right from day one. And now that you can start having events again, and you need the best in the catering business, you certainly want to call Seawells at 803-771-7385, SeawellsCateringSC.com online for more information. So in recruiting, USC is still in the hunt for defensive end Tomiwa Duraje, 6'5", 255, out of Middletown, Delaware, as he's named his top 8. And South Carolina is in that group. The others are Northwestern, Georgia Tech, Iowa, Arkansas, Michigan, West Virginia, and Duke. Of course, South Carolina's got some connections to him. His teammate, quarterback Braden Davis, is committed to the Gamecocks, and he's friendly with 2 Delaware natives on the roster, Marshawn Lloyd, Debo Williams. Durajaye took a personal visit to USC for the spring game. He's also been on a virtual visit, and he plans to visit this summer. He has 2 officials scheduled right now, June 18th to Georgia Tech and June 25th to Michigan. 2023 defensive tackle Keith Sampson of New Bern, North Carolina, will make a camp stop at USC next month. He plans to be in Columbia June 18 and 19. He also plans camp stops at Duke, East Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Virginia Tech, and Coastal Carolina. USC coach Shane Beamer been in touch with 2023 4-star receiver Braylon James, 6'3", 175, Del Valle, Texas, 17th ranked among receivers in his class, 24/7 Sports Composite, a top-heavy offer list with top 20 programs. USC offered 2024 receiver Justin Williams, 6'1", 180 out of Conroe, Texas. Hilton Head, 2024 offensive tackle Braylon Kitty, 6'5", 265, was offered by Kentucky per his coach, his first offer. Wofford landed a transfer from Navy wide receiver Devin Matthews, 6'4", 214, 3 catches for 39 yards last season. USC's got a busy June for official visits lined up. Here's what we have announced schedules for official visits at South Carolina for this coming month. June 11th, cornerback Kawan Banks, linebacker Stone Blanton, offensive tackle Ryan Brubaker, running back Jalen Glover, athlete Sam McCall, safety Javante McClendon, receiver Peter Kikwata, offensive tackle Grayson Maines, receiver C.J. Smith. On June 18th, wide receiver Addison Copeland and cornerback Traquan Fagans. And on June 25th, tight end Oscar Delp, cornerback Chris Graves, defensive tackle Nick James, and cornerback Keenan Nelson. Those are just some of the players that we have listed. We've seen announced. They've told us that they're going to be making official visits to South Carolina in June. So they're putting together a pretty good list of guys coming in for official visits, and they're going to try and nail things down with some players, which is opposite of what Clemson does in the summer months. They're not interested in having official visits in the summer, but they are going to have what they call their elite retreat in June, second weekend in June. It's not, it's going to be like an official visit, except the players are going to have to pay their own way in, but it'll be a gathering of some top Clemson prospects, and they'll do things and with each other and be over at Dabo Sweeney's house and visit things around the campus. It'll be kind of like an official visit, but not really an official visit. There you go with recruiting tonight here on Sports Talk. Remember to check it out regularly on our website, sportstalksc.com, and on Twitter, use the hashtag STRecruiting. Let's go to
I got
Sam.
a question about the.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Never mind. I'll hold the question until later. Let's get to the phone. But I do have a question about recruiting and the flood of players that are going to be coming into these campuses next month.
All right, let's go to Sam in Charleston. Our next phone call here on Sports Talk. Sam, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, sir? Hope you guys doing great.
We are. Same to you.
Hey, I have one question for tonight. How is the football schedule coming up for the fall?
It's all together. They're ready to go. They got all 12 teams scheduled.
Okay, so here's my point of view for the Gamecocks, my wish list for the fall. Did Shane Beamer say about when you say prospects to transfer portals? I can tell you, I'm not a big fan of transfer portal myself. And I just said, we lost another couple players at the CFC basketball team. And the question that I'm having is, what do you think about a transfer portal rule? Because I don't like it.
Well, and thanks for your phone call, Sam. I mean, I think we've given college players too much freedom. I think they've gone too far. Now, they're going to tighten it up a little bit. They're still going to have that one-time transfer, but without penalty. And then if you transfer again, you'll have to sit out a year. But what if you use the one-time transfer to transfer for free, and then you stay at the school that you transferred to for 1 year, because that'll be like your third year, and you graduate? Can you then use the graduate transfer rule to transfer for free for a second time, right? You can do that, right? So I can see how you could have 2 free transfers in there if you're smart enough. Thank you. Back in a moment.
Hi, this is Kevin Cohen. I'm the owner, the general manager here at The Point. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is to partner with great people. To that end, I'm looking to partner in the upcoming months with like-minded business owners, people who want to grow their respective businesses. Would you consider meeting with me in the very near future to discuss how The Point can partner with you so that you can exceed your own expectations in the coming year? Let's sit down over a glass of tea, a cup of coffee. Let's talk about how your business and my business can work together to meet our collective goals. I'm not looking simply for advertisers. I can find them by simply cold calling people a few times a week. What I'm looking for are business partners who share the vision that I have for my own small business. That vision is very simple. Local businesses need to support local businesses, period. If you have an interest in telling people about your business via the radio, let's make it happen affordably and local. Call me directly, 563-8558, 563-8558. I'd appreciate the chance to meet with you. Maybe we can help each other.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The White House says President Biden has expressed support for a ceasefire during a call to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. A statement says the leaders spoke Monday, which was the 8th day of Israeli-Palestinian fighting. Biden's move signals U.S. concerns for an end to Israel's part of hostilities with Hamas, although it falls short of growing Democratic Party demands for an immediate ceasefire. The White House says the president reiterated his firm support for Israel's right to defend itself against indiscriminate rocket attacks. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 54 points to 34,327. The Nasdaq dropped 50 points, with the S&P 500 lower by 10. Crude oil up 90 cents to close at $66.27 a barrel. More details at srnnews.com.
Now, who could that be?
It's Dominion Energy. I signed us up for a home energy checkup. It's time we learn how to save energy and money.
How much does it cost?
Not a dime. It's free, and it only takes about an hour. Plus, we get a report on things we can do to make our home more energy efficient.
I don't know. Sounds too good to be true.
No. See for yourself at DominionEnergySC.com.
Where?
DominionEnergySC.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
One thing you hear on The Point all day long, it's be intentional. You hear it from our local and national hosts, and I practice what I preach. So when it comes to my biggest financial investment, my home, well, I'm pretty intentional. I had Allstate Seamless Gutter come out, and they fixed me up. Think about this. You spend between, $800, $1,500 on gutters for your house. That's an intentional investment. It protects your home against so many things that can cost thousands and thousands of dollars later on. Things like mold damage or foundation repairs. And while we're talking about being intentional, when Doug and his team came out, did the job on my home, well, we partnered up to help save you some money. If you call 833-5-GUTTER, tell them you want that point discount, that's 40% off your gutters. Make an intentional decision about your home. Protect your biggest financial investment. They do great work. And I won't endorse Allstate Seamless Gutter if I didn't have them come out and do the work on my own home. Peace of mind and new gutters at a great price. That's being intentional. Allstate Seamless Gutter, 833-5-GUTTER. That's 833-5-GUTTER.
Hi, this is Marcia Kleiman.
And I'm Karen Pickard. We're your hosts for the Positive Point on Aging.
We'll talk about aging gracefully and senior care every Tuesday morning from 8:30 to 9 o'clock a.m.
Join us right here on The Point for the Positive Point on Aging.
Brought to you by Oakley Village of Lexington.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Uiagalelei goes shotgun, and they go play action. Look into the end zone. Touchdown, Davis Allen.
Hey, Tiger fans, although the football season ticket priority deadline has passed, it's not too late to place your order for new season tickets to come back home to Clemson and see your Clemson Tigers play in the Valley this season. To join IPTAY and order your tickets, call 1-800-CLEMSON or visit ClemsonTigers.com/football tickets. That's ClemsonTigers.com/football tickets and come back home to Clemson.
Someone will be right with you. The Point.
Okay, we're back on Sports Talk. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel here on a Monday night. Been very busy covering everything that's gone on from over the weekend, and we're efforting to connect with Preston McDonald, baseball coach at Florence Darlington Tech. Boy, Chris, they were dominant in their region championship over the weekend. They left no doubt.
Never saw that coming. I figured Florence Darlington Tech would possibly win, especially because they were hosting this, but had no idea that they would just bash the baseball against a really good Monroe college team coming down here from New York. But you're right. They left no doubt, blowing them out on Friday and then again on Saturday. I mean, those games were over by the fifth inning on both Friday and Saturday. They didn't have to worry about game 3 on Sunday, and that has helped them vault to number 6 nationally. I guess the highest ranked baseball team we probably have maybe in the state.
Oh, yeah, I would say so. Have to see what the latest ranking is for North Greenville. They're way up there, too, in D2. And, of course, South Carolina we talked about. South Carolina is the only D1 program that's ranked. So, yeah, that's probably the highest ranked team in the state. And, boy, they had that pristine record, too. Were they like 46 or something?
They are now 46-6. 2 of the teams they'll probably have to run through at the World Series are Wabash Valley College and also Walter State. Walter State, get this, Phil, is 58-5. They're the number 2 ranked team in the country. 58-5.
Well,
That's
junior
incredible.
colleges can produce some pretty awesome numbers, and they get a lot of good players, of course. Some of which will go right to the pros. They'll play 1 year. A lot of high school guys, for whatever reason, they don't want to go to the major college. They want to go to a junior college setting. They can play 1 year in junior college. If they didn't sign out of high school, they can play the 1 year in junior college, and then they're eligible for the professional draft the next year. So it's a quick stop for them to improve their game and improve their draft stock, and then be in the draft that next summer. It's a really cool way to get things done. That's why the baseball model is the perfect model for all of college sports. And it's time for the eggheads who bury their heads in the ground, who run college sports, to see that and just open it up like that for everybody. Read today where it's most unlikely that the NCAA will pass any NLI legislation before July. So that's not going to get done on their part. But they are talking about a waiver. They are talking about a waiver so that any player or school that gets involved in NLI after their state enacts the law and they go ahead and start getting money, they're not going to be penalized by the NCAA for that. So
Understandable. And I just looked it up, and I stand corrected. The latest Division II baseball poll, according to Collegiate Baseball, has North Greenville ranked 5th.
Oh, so they would be numero uno.
They would be
in the state. Okay. We've not hooked up with Preston yet. Is that him calling in? Okay, we'll put him on hold. We'll go to Coach Bill McDonald from South Carolina, the South Carolina golf coach, joining us from out in Albuquerque. He's way out there, so we'll go to him first, then we'll pick up with Preston McDonald. Let's welcome in. This is old McDonald's time here on Sports Talk. We got Bill McDonald to be followed by Preston McDonald. First,
I guess make it not it was anticlimactic, I guess is the best way to put it. Not have to worry about playing a close game, getting those 2 wins, and getting back out to Colorado.
was the ball flying out of your ballpark over the weekend?
Yeah, the wind was blowing out. I'd say, 8 to 10 miles per hour probably. So, we're a few home runs hit, and obviously our guys took advantage of it.
No doubt about it. What really caught your eye about your team? Any individual really stand out to you? Pitcher, offensive player, defensive player? Who really caught your eye?
On Friday, Gary Laura homered twice, had 4 RBIs. DJ Sullivan had a home run and a double and 4 RBIs. And then on Saturday, Hunter Parks gave us a great start, went 7 innings. I think he gave up 1 run through 7. So that was big. JT Marr had a grand slam early in game 2 to kind of give us that cushion that we needed to feel pretty good about where we were at, and guys were just able to finish. So had some different guys step up, and it was 2 good wins.
And as far as looking ahead to Colorado, what's the plans for your team? How much do you get the chance to practice? When do you head west? What's your schedule out there?
Yeah. So we're not sure when we open up yet. It's going to be either next Saturday or next Sunday. We'll find that out a week from today. Next Monday, I guess the bracket will come out. They're going to seed the 10 teams. I think we came out ranked 6th in the country today. So I would imagine if everything kind of stays the same, we'll probably be in the middle of the pack there, probably the 5 or 6 seed. Just guessing. But we'll try to fly out next Tuesday, and get down there Tuesday night and try to get a few practices in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before the weekend. So yeah, we're gonna hopefully make it a long trip, and try to get acclimated to the altitude change, and see if we can get these guys ready to play some good baseball against the top 10 teams in the country.
Well, I mean, you've been out there before, and you know what it's like, how the ball travels out there. How does the ball travel out there?
It's pretty incredible, man. We had some guys that barely hit the ball out of the infield, and BP hitting home runs in BP. I mean, it was.
Can I go with you? Can I go with you and take batting practice?
Yeah, no kidding, right? It makes bad hitters look really good, but you got to have a really good pitching staff to try to keep the other team off the board, and your team really has to be built for it out there. Last time we went, we didn't have the type of team that's going to be successful. We didn't have a bunch of guys that are going to hit a lot of home runs, and so it was definitely an eye opener for us last time we went. We're like, man, if we're going to be successful out here, we're going to have to build our team a little bit different. We're not going to be able to steal enough bases and hit enough singles to keep up with these guys that hit 3-run homers. So, that's kind of changed the way we've recruited.
Preston McDonald, head baseball coach at Florence Darlington Tech, joining us here tonight on Sports Talk. And, Coach, congratulations on a second trip to the College World Series. You bring up a fascinating point. I'm curious about the team in 2017 that went to the JC World Series compared to now. How much better do you believe your team is today versus that team you took out there for the first time a couple of years ago to compete and perhaps win a few ball games and stay out there, as you pointed out, for a little while?
Oh man, it's always tough to compare teams. That group in 2017, love those guys, and this team, man, they kind of have an edge to them where they just hate to lose. I think we probably have a little more pitching depth, and I think obviously we're a little more offensive. We got a lot more extra base hits, and defensively, I think it's probably about the same. But I think just the main difference is the extra base hits. The home runs. Out there doubles turn into home runs. So I think this team has a better chance to be built for a team that can be successful out there. So hopefully we can keep practicing and working these guys and have them prepared for Grand Junction, and I know the other teams will be, so it'll be a challenge for us, but hopefully these guys will come ready to go.
You brought up an interesting point. The latest JC rankings have you guys moving up 2 spots to 6th. And Coach, I would imagine, had we told you before the season began, if you were 46-6 at the end of the regular season and region tournament play, you'd been awfully excited. But I'm looking at Wabash Valley College at 51-3 and Walters State at 58-5. I'm going to assume at least one, if not both of those guys are going to be out there with you. How do you compare teams that played, say, 60 games versus your team that played 52?
Yeah, we had over 56 games scheduled, but we had some rainouts and had some cancellations due to COVID. So it obviously made things tough on us. But But yeah, those guys have a few more games under their belt, and they got some innings for some guys that we may not have gotten as many innings for, and some guys some extra at bats. But man, both of those programs are just top notch. Both of them have been 1 and 2 in the country, kind of back and forth pretty much all year. They both have a ton of Power 5 guys. So they're super talented, and they're definitely going to be a challenge for us. We actually try to schedule games with both of those guys this season. We almost had Wabash Valley set up at Lake Point in Atlanta, and this is the first year in several years that we haven't played Walter State. They had travel restrictions this year. They really couldn't go too far outside of Tennessee, so that made it tough, to schedule them as well. But yeah, so we like playing, a good schedule, like playing tough teams, because it gets us prepared for, what we're about to do next week is play against top 10 teams in the country.
Well, congratulations once again. What a year you're having. Good luck out there. We'll be in touch. Follow you guys as you play out in Colorado, and best of luck to you. Go bring home that championship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me, and hopefully we'll do well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Preston McDonald from Florence Darlington Tech, having a great year, great baseball team, heading out to the College World Series for the junior colleges. And we'll be on top of that. So we've got the NCAA Division II regional at North Greenville, and that will be coming up. I think that's the end of next week. That starts.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think they actually start Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, if I'm not mistaken.
They've had a pretty good layoff to get ready for that.
No doubt. I'm sure Landon probably didn't. That's not what Coach Powell was hoping for. But Phil, I mean, how do you compare teams that played 46 games or 52 games in Florence Darlington Tech's capability versus a team that's played over 60?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, I mean, I guess because of maybe COVID and the way they had to schedule things this year, some teams are, there's no, like, typically you'll play 56 games in Division I, but I think the ACC was playing a few less games than the SEC was playing this year. I think if you go back and look at the schedules there. Okay, we do now continue with our Old McDonald's segment here on Sports Talk. From Preston McDonald at Florence Darlington Tech Baseball to Bill McDonald of USC Golf, who joins us from Albuquerque. I remember the day that Joe Morrison was hired at South Carolina, and he said, I'm happy to be in Columbia because I've lived in Chattanooga and I've lived in Albuquerque, and I'm just happy to be someplace where I can spell the name.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. I grew up 20 miles from Chattanooga, so I don't struggle with that one, but I sure as hell do with Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, that is tough. Yeah. But you know what?
Yeah.
Following your team today, it looked like you got off to a good start, and then you kind of settled in a little bit, and then you finished up pretty strongly. So you're right there in good shape after the first round.
Yeah, we are. It was windy today. The meat of the golf course is 5 through 10, and fortunately we got off to a good start because we didn't play 5 through 10 very well. We actually, I think, went from, I don't look at my phone a lot when we play, but somebody told me we went from near the top to fell back pretty good. And then we finished really strong, 14 through 18. Our guys really in some pretty tough conditions. We had a storm coming in on us. It was really pretty cool. It just missed us and then headed towards Santa Fe and started snowing.
Ooh,
so it was
my gosh.
It was 90 degrees where we were. And then when we got into the clubhouse, they said it was snowing in Santa Fe. So I guess we got lucky there, but good day for the guys. We're right in the mix, and we got a good chance tomorrow to get to hopefully make a little move up the leaderboard.
Right now you're tied for 5th, 3 under with Arizona State and Nevada, and you're only 4 shots back of your leader, Oregon State. Then Texas Tech is -5, and New Mexico is -4. What about this course catches your eye? Is this a course that's good for your team?
I think it is. I think the biggest adjustment for us is the altitude. The ball's just going so far. And when you combine that with really slopey, tricky greens and some wind, you've got a lot of variables there. And the West Coast, or these teams out here that have played in these kind of conditions, understand how far the balls go. And our guys have really never really played in that kind of stuff. So it's been a little bit of a challenge there, but we're in a good spot. I mean, I think the golf course, I told somebody, it reminds me of Palmetto, a much longer Palmetto, but very dicey, tricky that way. We have to think about each shot and where you're placing it and all that. And a lot of our guys have obviously played Palmetto well and have played it a lot. So I've been comparing it to that.
Ryan Hall today, I guess he did what you expect of your best player to do, and that is go out and play well. Looks like he had maybe 1-2 bogeys on the day. He shoots 68. He's in good shape individually. So he kind of led the way for you. How'd you feel about his performance?
Really good, considering the dummy brought out one pair of shoes, brand new foot joists, to the tournament and wore them in the practice round and had blisters.
Ooh.
And we were extra socks, new skin, Band-Aids. We were just hoping he was going to be not just playing barefoot, to be honest with you, after yesterday. So,
boy.
Yeah. He's a tough kid now, let me tell you. But he played great. We got him doctored up pretty good. So, he's just had a heck of a year, and he's obviously led us. But Jamie Wilson holds out a bunker shot for eagle on the 15th hole and makes another birdie coming in. So he's played pretty good coming down the stretch as well. So those two have been by far our best players, and they showed up today.
USC head men's golf coach Bill McDonald joining us here tonight on Sports Talk. Gamecocks just a couple of strokes off the lead of Oregon State at -7, USC at -3. And Coach, you talked about Palmetto as your best comparison to the golf course you guys are playing at Albuquerque. That certainly caught my eye. Does in a golf course where you have to sort of think your way around the track itself, is it helpful to have guys who can hit the ball as far as some of your players? How do you talk them through this? And as you pointed out, was the experience at Palmetto such a big bonus for you guys, having played on a course you don't normally see?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, the challenge out here is with the length of the golf course you have at 70, 7,200, or a little bit more than that. It's obviously not Palmetto. It's that in that respect, but the way the ball bounces and the way the greens are shaped, very similar in the way you have to play. Our guys bomb it, and so they can take advantage of that in certain situations, cutting some dog legs and trying to get up closer to some par fours. The challenge there is that a lot of them narrow up as you get up closer to the green. They got just enough rough to be a pain in the rear where you can't really spin the ball that well. So that's really the challenge for us is being decisive with what to do off the tee, picking our lines and hitting the right clubs. And then if our guys get in the fairway or have a clear shot, they're usually pretty good on approach shots and when they're around the greens. It's what we do off the tee that seems to always make the difference for us.
So what does your day look like tomorrow? What time do you go out? What are you expecting from a condition standpoint?
Expecting a little different wind direction, probably the same kind of. We had 15 to 20 mile an hour most of the day today out of the south and southwest. I think tomorrow switching from the northwest. We'll get going around 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock Eastern. We go off the back nine tomorrow, which in the first wave, which is going to be good and bad in the sense that we should be able to get off to a good start, but we've got to finish on those holes that we really struggled on today. And if you really got nerdy about it and looked at the scoreboard, which I've been going back looking at cards and everything since we got back from the golf course, if you look at where people struggle, it's on that stretch we're going to be finishing on tomorrow. The fortunate part of it is that we got a little different wind direction, so those holes should play slightly easier, even though they're still, no matter how the wind blows, they're difficult finishing holes. So. And
your goal is on Wednesday to be what, inside the top six?
Top five.
Top
on
five
on the men's
okay.
side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we really are trying to win the golf tournament. That's the goal. That would take it. That would take care of everything that we need to do. But it would also help our seeding at NCAA's if we could to win the event. So, been using this. We are a 9 seed out here, which I think is I think we're a pretty good 9 seed. I don't think the rankings really had us right. So we're trying to. I'm trying to coach them up, Phil, trying to play with a little bit of chip on our shoulder this week and go prove the world we're not a 9 seed, that we belong at NCAA.
Well, good luck. We appreciate you visiting with us. we'll be back in touch throughout the regional, and we'll see how things go for you tomorrow. We'll be watching.
Great. Thanks for having me as always.
You got
Y'all
it.
Take care.
Thank you, Coach. All right, Bill McDonald, coach of USC. We'll get to Larry Penley tomorrow. We'll try and track him down tomorrow, see how they're doing out in Tennessee. So South Carolina sitting tied for 5th, but only 4 shots out of the lead. So in good shape. Should also mention our good friend Matt Hogue reminding us that Coastal Carolina has a singles player in the NCAA tournament. Zach Taylor is playing individually in Noblesville, Indiana. And after the first round, he is tied for 62nd at 78 plus 6. So he's 10 shots off the lead. So there you go. Been a busy, busy show. You know, springtime brings us so many different sports coming at you at one time. Unlike the fall where you've just got, at least the beautiful thing about football is you got all week to prepare for one game, to focus on that and talk about that. And there's not that much else going on until you get the invasion of basketball, and then things really start to cook up. But in the springtime, you got all these different things going on. So tonight we've touched on golf, baseball, softball, a little NASCAR talk.
Tennis.
Tennis. We're all over tennis. So, yeah, we've had our plate full.
You were asking me last week what a basketball manager does from my days doing that job. One of the things that would have probably helped Coach McDonald and certainly Ryan Hall today is we did pack shoes for the players and actually packed additional shoes for the players so they wouldn't roll out there for the ball game. We'd fly somewhere on a Friday, play on Saturday, and they didn't have to worry about breaking in a new pair of shoes at shoot around that morning. So I totally get it. Playing and Ryan Hall playing as well as he did in a brand new pair of shoes, he might not want to change. Going into tomorrow, he may ask for a brand new pair of FootJoys to roll out there again tomorrow.
I'm telling you, breaking in new shoes in a championship format is not very smart. Real quick, we touched on this Zion Williamson story in the News and Observer by Steve Wiseman, and basically this has to also do with the court case involving the one-time USC basketball player who came in from Louisville, made a brief stop in South Carolina, and this shows wire transfers to the joint bank account in the name of Williamson's mother and her husband. Payments of $1,000, $500, $2,500, $1,000. So you can go read this online at the News and Observer, get more detail. But things are starting to come out of the woodwork about this case. That'll do it. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being with us.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you. WQ